Hello YouTube family, thank you for joining me. Today we are going to make a bracelet. That's what I have in mind, and we're going to wire wrap it using a 24 gauge wire. I have a ton of these silver colored, so I want to use up these wire. So this is what inspired the color palette today. So I have this gray little cylinder shaped beads. There is a name for this. I can't remember right now, but this is what they look like. And then I have this glass pearl beads that I think complements the two colors really well. And then these beads right here are vintage beads. As you can see, the shapes are very irregular, as well as the hole sizes. So these are from like 1890s, I believe. So I'm very excited to use these beads with the other two colors and see how our bracelet comes together. And I have clasp, lobster claw clasps, and some jump rings, and then your regular set of pliers to work with. I do have some head pins too if I decide to add some charms at the end. So we'll think about that for later. And I do have my little bead board here sitting up here. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use these beads in a repeating pattern. So I'm going to start with the gray one first. So what we're going to do is, something else I like to do is, I like to put the beads through straight into the wire in the spool. I don't cut a piece because I feel like that saves you a little piece of wire, and each time you're making your design. And let's see, how many beads do I want to use? I feel like I only want to do one. We are going to wire wrap at this point. I am going to take my wire, bend it 90 degrees, and I'm looking to see how big I want the loop to be. And then every time I make a loop, I want it to be about that size. So I think this is a good size right here. And then I'm going to wrap this around. Got about 4 wraps there, and I'm going to give it a trim as close to my work as possible and get rid of that piece. And I'm going to use the chain nose plier to tuck it in so that it doesn't scratch us. Okay, and then I'm going to slide my bead down, and then so we need to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to give ourselves about an inch to work with and trim it off. Put this to the side and do the same thing. So I'm going to bring this close to the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. So right here is and hold it up this way, and then wrap it up, and wrap it up close to until you get close to your bead. So keep going. And I'm going to give a little trim. And tuck that end in. Okay, so this is what I have. And now we're going to add next bead to our chain link here. So I'm gonna bring my spool back here again, and then the next bead I'm going to use is the glass pearl. So I'm going to slide that in my spool. So I'm gonna do the same thing, hold it with my round nose plier, bend it 90 degrees, move my plier, and then bring it all the way around, bring the tip all the way around, and then start twisting. There's my 4 wraps. Sorry about that. And then give it a trim. I feel like I need a darker background so that you can see better. Let me bring this over. Hope you can see this better. And I'll trim that off. And I'm going to tuck that end in. Okay, and then you want to trim off an inch from where your bead sits. So when I say an inch, I mean like right after your bead, so that you have enough room to work with. Then put that away. And I think our little piece is hiding there somewhere. And then do the same thing. Hold on to your work. Okay, so at this point, right after you have made a loop, before you twist the wire, this is where you want to connect your chain. So insert your wire through that, the loop of the other link that we made, and then at this point you will start twisting the wire. The second one is, when I say second, I mean like this is the first one and this is the second one, is always harder to make, just so you know, if you struggle doing this one. I do too, because you have to create enough space to wire wrap around. And it does take a little practice. So now we're going to add our turquoise color. So I think because these are smaller beads, I'm going to maybe do 3 of them. And I'm just gonna compare our link to see how big they look. Yeah, I think it's about the size of our other beads when we put 3 of them together. So that's how many we're going to use. 3 of them, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Twist. Okay, so after you have your loop done, we're gonna slide our beads down, and then again give yourself an inch of the wire, bend it and do your loop again, insert your chain, and there we have the 3 links. Okay, so I'm going to keep going until I have about 6.5 inches long, and then I'll be back. So our chain is completed here. This is about 6.5 inches long, and this is how long I want this to be. And I have my jump rings out and my clasp. So at this point we're going to connect our clasp to our bracelet. So I'm taking a jump ring, putting our clasp through, and then our bracelet, and closing it off. That's one side. Now on the other side, I want to add some charm. That's why I have 2 jump rings out. So one of them I'm going to close it right away, because I'm not going to do anything to this. This is going to be our the very last jump ring to connect the to hook the clasp with. So I'm going to leave it like that, and then this is where I want to add all the charms and the last piece. So to make the charms, I have my head pins out, and I want this to be a really small charm. So I'm only going to put one bead because our bracelet is pretty thin, so I only want to use one. I'm going to bend it as close to the bead as possible. So I have this 90 degrees. And then I'm going to give myself about ½ inch and give it a trim. And then using your round nose plier, take the tip and bend it over, and now you have yourself a little charm. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing using the gray bead. I feel like I should go 2 of these. Looks like a little bar, and then again bend it close to the beads as possible. Trim ½ inch again. Straighten it out. For the third charm, I want to do something a little different. Zoom out a little bit here. So I have this collection of scrap wire, and I want to get I think I have a 24 gauge. There we go. And I want to make a little round shape with my blue beads. So I'm just going to kind of round this up a little bit so that it kind of takes, it's easy to shape it when the beads are in place. I'm gonna do 6 beads first. 3, 4, 5, 1 more, and see how I feel about it. Let's try 8. So it just required a lot of twisting bit by bit so that you get a nice little round shape. Okay, I'm happy with this shape, so I'm just gonna give it give the wires a few twists, so that way it stays in place, and then bring it up and twist it more because we have to make a loop on the top here. Okay, and then we're gonna trim off the excess pieces there, tuck it in. Okay, and this is what we have, and it's just something different, something that adds a little bit of interest. So after this, we're going to add all of our charms into our jump ring. There's 1, there's 2, there is 3, and then our last jump ring, and then our bracelet. And then we're going to close this off. This is kind of overlapped, so I need to open this up a little bit. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so there are our little charms, and let me see if a close-up view would be better. There we go. And then there's our bracelet.
Thank you for watching. Bye.